In today's lesson, let's take a look at the treble clef using the right hand with the notes C, D and E. Hello, I'm Daniel and welcome back to PianoVirtus. Please watch lesson 1 if you would like me to go through the basics once again. In this lesson we will be covering 3 notes on the treble staff with the right hand. And I'll be taking a look at a time signature. So if you're ready, let's begin. In previous lessons, we learned that the treble clef is played with the right hand and middle C is located just below the stave. We also learned that a note can be held for different beats or counts. We looked at quarter notes or crotchets, half notes or minims, whole notes or semibreves. Now we are going to introduce a new note to the right hand and it's middle D. If we look at the stave, you can see that middle D hangs from the bottom line on the treble clef. Here's what middle D looks like as a quarter note or crotchet, as a half note or minim, and as a whole note or semibreve. Also notice it's just a slight step up in pitch from middle C. Which finger are we going to place on D? Well, let's remember our finger placement. So if you remember from our previous videos, we had our thumb on C, and now we will use our second finger, our index, on D. Try this exercise only using middle D. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. And again without the counting. And remember, we don't want any fingers lifting up and we must count out aloud to keep it nice and even. Let's try a different exercise. And now with the counting. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we are going to use a combination of middle C and middle D and different note values which we have used previously. At this point you can pause the video on the music sheet and listen afterwards to see if you get it right. And with the counting, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's another exercise only using middle C and D. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we are going to introduce our final note for the treble clef in this lesson, the note E. Notice the note E's relationship to C and D. The note E is on the bottom line of the staff of the treble clef. Here's what E looks like as a quarter note or crotchet, as a half note or minim, and as a whole note or semibreve. Yes, you've probably guessed it, we have to use our third finger on the note E. Now, let's get our fingers in place and try this exercise on the note E. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And without counting. Now let's try an exercise using just D and E notes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. At this point, I would like to introduce something new to the stave. This is called a time signature, or it can be called a time meter, or just meter. In an earlier video, you may remember me referring to boxes on the staff as bars. The time signature, or meter, tells us how many beats go into every bar. This time signature, or meter, is called 4/4. The top number is the important one to begin with. This tells us how many beats fit into each bar. The bottom number tells us the value of each beat. Confused? Well, think of it like this. The bottom number 4 should be looked at as a fraction. Picture the fraction of a quarter in your mind. 1/4. When you look at the 4/4 time signature, it means there are 4 quarter beats in every bar. A time signature is only normally found at the beginning of the first line of a piece of music after the clef. The exception to this is unless the timing changes at some point during the song. Now let's look at the last exercise we did with the new added time signature. You can see that each bar adds up to 4 beats. Although in the final bar there is only one note value, you will still have to count 4 quarter or crotchet beats. We will now be using 4/4 time signatures or time meters on the next few songs, and this is where things start to get exciting. Out of our 3 new notes C, D, E, we can play songs that we might recognize. Always remember to place our fingers in the correct way and count out aloud. At this point, if you wish, you can pause the video on the music sheet in between each song and listen afterwards to see if you've got it right. So that's all from me this week. Remember to follow us. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell icon so you don't miss a video, and follow us on social media. Just search for PianoVirtus. So from me, Daniel, see you at the next lesson. Goodbye for now.